Hey guys, welcome back to my channel for your daily tarot reading. I mean, I say it's daily, but I've had a little bit of a break. I was feeling quite out of the flow of things. I've been manifesting a lot, and it's taking a while for my 3D reality to catch up with, you know, my internal reality. This may be something that you relate to currently as well. But I thought I'd get back on, start posting some more videos, some more tarot readings, because I know that they are going to find the people that they're meant for. If you're returning, thank you so much for coming back and listening to me. And if you're new here, welcome. My name's Emma, and I'm just tapping in and channeling some messages for you from Spirit, okay? I'm going to start with the Literary Witches Oracle today. A beautiful deck with some stunning artwork. And let's just see where you're at currently. Okay, Spirit, please be with me during this reading. What does the viewer need to know? That was quick. Okay. We have the Elixir. We have Vision. We have Boar. And we have Power. Okay. What I like about this spread already is that it kind of gives me the idea of somebody who has tasted a lot of poison. This Boar is kind of a toxic masculinity card, a conflict card. But the combination of vision and power really speaks to me of somebody who has been able to look past their limiting beliefs. They have been able to use their creative vision and their creative gifts to envision a new life for themselves beyond the poison that they were used to, you know, beyond the negativity that they were subjected to. And really this Boar, I don't know why I've defined it like this in my head, but we're going to go with it. This gives me toxic masculinity. It really, really does. But it also gives me the idea of somebody who was hunted. So you may have felt that being yourself, showing up as you, really embodying your divine essence, your divine light fully, put you in danger. And you hid that because you were scared to be hunted for it, you know? And this fear of being seen, this idea of watering yourself down and hiding yourself in the shadows, it does stem from this idea of the witch wound. So women who, it can be men as well, but you know, it is namely women, who were persecuted in the past for expressing their true selves, for expressing their power, for stepping in to their power, okay, with this Power card. This vision card as well also gives me somebody who's clairvoyant, somebody who can connect with spirit, receive downloads. You know, you're very, very tapped in, and I feel like there has been an awakening. There's been an awakening. You have seen a vision of a life where you are not cropped in, you know, by this toxicity, by this toxic masculinity, by this need to hide for fear of being hunted, subjugated, persecuted. And this was a poison, you know, with this Elixir card. This was literally a poison that you swallowed on a daily basis. And you may have been, you know, kind of unaware of all of the limiting beliefs, of all of the toxicity that had been, you know, that kind of congregated around you. But I do feel that here there was a pivotal moment in which the veil was kind of lifted. There were holes punched in the veil, and you were getting glimpses of this reality, your highest reality, your north node, you know, your most abundant timeline. You were receiving glimpses of this, you know, and it may have been in dreams, it may have just been you kind of during manifestations envisioning yourself in a very different reality to the current reality that you're in, but actually seeing yourself embodying what it is that you've always known, you've always felt, you've always wanted to embody. You've seen that quite clearly, you've envisioned it, you know, in your mind. And before anything comes into reality, before anything can take on a physical form, you know, we have to be able to embody it, to feel it, to see it, to be it. That's really I said be and then the B just yeah, so this is really what you've done, you know, you've recognized where this poison was coming from, okay? You know, this could represent people as well. This is a card of conflict. It's a conflict card, but it does give me masculine energy. So perhaps, you know, you were in a series of very bad relationships where you weren't receiving what you were giving, where you were kind of overcompensating, and receiving very little in return. And you kind of probably made the mistake of internalizing this and equating your inherent value to that which others readily gave you or were willing to give you. But you've realized that, you know, other people's opinions of you, other people's willingness to meet you, begins with your willingness to meet yourself. So, you know, whereas you were in this energy before of drinking this poison, there was a part of you that believed, you know, however subconscious, that that was what you were worthy of, and so you kept attracting it. But I believe that you've recognized it, and this is the thing about a cycle, you know, it's only a cycle until you recognize it. You know, it's only, you have to recognize it to put a stop to the cycle, and I believe that that's what you've done. And you are currently, at this time as we're speaking, you are stepping into an immense amount of power because of your capacity for visualization, because of your own vision for yourself, for what you think that you can be, for the life that you want for yourself. You know, you're tapping into this intrinsic power that has always been there, but it was just hidden under layers and layers and layers of conflict, of difficulty, you know, and it was poisoning your soul, it was poisoning your spirit, it was taking you away from your inner knowing. I feel that there has been this essence of being cut off from the heart space, functioning in a very masculine energy, very consumed by logic, reason, really trying to exert your energy onto things. But we're moving away from that now with this vision card. We're moving into a more imaginative, creative space in which we see this world as, you know, in its limitless potential, because you can have anything that you want. The universe is on your side, and I do believe that you're realizing this now. You know, it's your birthright. Whatever you have envisioned for yourself, and this is probably something that was quite apparent to you when you were younger. I've been revisiting myself, a lot of my own childhood dreams, really trying to connect with that part of me that I disowned because other people told me it wasn't realistic, it wasn't acceptable, all of that stuff that people like to project onto you because they are conditioned by a society that cuts people off from their power, okay? A bit of advice: if somebody is not in the position that you wish to be, do not listen to their advice. It's as simple as that. I mean, I was having a conversation, I won't name names, but a family member, and I was talking about my work situation, and, you know, I recently decided to put university on hold, which shocked a lot of people in my life, okay? You know, it was like, oh, you're so close to the end, why can't you just do it? Why can't you just carry on? And everything inside me, I felt it deep in my heart. You know, it was a knowing that was intrinsically in my bones that I needed to put it on hold because I had other things that I needed to pursue at this time, like this. And it took me months to make that decision, and the reason that it took me months to make that decision was because I was talking to everybody else outside of me, okay? And I was putting so much value on what these people thought about my life and what I should do and where I should go, when actually I know that my life is going to be very, very different from the lives of the people around me. I know because I've decided it. That's my intention, okay? I am not going to live the same life as those people in my family. And what's really funny is actually when these people speak to you and they kind of tell you what you should do, most of the time you'll find that these people complain a lot. And that's because they're not happy with their reality. And yet they would advise you to step into their reality by doing things the way that they do them. It doesn't make sense, okay? So, you know, if this is what you've been struggling with, really paying attention to outside opinions, and displacing yourself from the center of your world, because, you know, I was someone who also thought that kind of putting myself first was selfish, you know, and everybody else was more important, and what everybody else felt was more important, but that couldn't be further from the truth. And I feel that, you know, I do think that this is something that you're struggling with currently. I think you probably see your vision. Oh, that's what it is. Okay, that's exactly what it is. You see your vision so very clearly because of your experience, and it's making you powerful. And I feel that this vision is beginning to spill out. The power is spilling out. And so naturally you're going to want to share, you're going to want to talk to people, you're going to want advice. You know, anybody who's wise will seek advice, will seek counsel. But the problem comes when you're seeking counsel in the wrong places, okay? So please, in this scenario, if you are feeling that you are being affected by voices outside of yourself, take some time to step away from the noise. Step away from the noise, be silent, be quiet, be with the breath, ground yourself and listen, okay? This used to confuse me actually, and we will do some more cards in a minute, but I've got a lot to say, so I'm going to get on with it. It used to confuse me because when people said be quiet and listen, and you will hear, you will hear your intuition, you'll hear, you know, what you need to hear. I used to think that it would be a clear voice, a disembodied voice that I'd hear, but it isn't like that at all. It's a feeling. It's not, well, sometimes it is words, because sometimes it's downloads, you know, sometimes you get a direct message downloaded, and that is, you know, that does happen. But more often than not, it is about just following your sense, okay? Following what you feel is right. And with my university situation, that's exactly what I did, though it took me a while to make the decision, but I am so much happier now. Making that decision freed me. It really, really freed me. And, you know, I didn't know, I suppose what was so difficult about it was I didn't know how it would leave me. It was like a leap into the unknown. Everything was kind of sorted financially, with housing, yada yada, and making this decision would kind of lead to a result that I didn't know how it would look. And so my fear, my comfort, was holding me in a space that I knew was no longer for me, okay? And the distraction kept me in that place, the external distraction, the external advice. The best thing that you will ever do for yourself in this instance of visualizing a life for yourself, in reclaiming your power, is listening to your internal compass, is kind of logging off from the external noise, okay? Wonderful. Let's get some more on this then. What's on the top? Ooh! Amazing. So on the top of the deck we have bravery. It takes immense courage to begin to follow your heart, particularly when you have been so used to swallowing everybody else's poison. Oh my God, that's what it, that's what this is. Okay, yes, you've been so used to listening to what everybody else has to say and swallowing this negativity, that it cut you off from the seat of your soul, from where your power stems, okay? And you've had an immense amount of bravery, an incredible amount of bravery. I'm noticing on this card, the person at the top looks like they're falling down. And I believe that this is likely how you felt, or how you have been feeling in making more heart-centered decisions, like it has been a leap of faith almost, you know, because maybe the answers haven't been exactly clear, maybe there's been no clear layout. Potentially these decisions that you've been making have uprooted certain things in your life, okay? And it's no easy feat to do that when you know that there is going to be a fallout. I'm seeing the Tower card in my head, okay? So you've made some very big decisions that have affected not only you, but those around you, not in a negative way, but in a way that is true to your soul. And oftentimes when we are, you know, tapping into this and we're being true to our soul, the level of authenticity that we step into can trigger those people around us who are, you know, functioning from a place of being unhealed. And I do believe that healing is a constant thing. You know, I don't think you can ever be fully healed, because this world is a learning, it's a playground, you know. I've lost my trail of thought. Anyway, yeah, this person falling from the sky, you've taken a huge leap of faith here by actually believing in your vision. You've seen this vision, and instead of giving into fear, instead of telling yourself you know, in the words of somebody else, that it's unrealistic because nobody else around you has ever done it before. Of course it's unrealistic to them because they've never done it before. But it only takes you to make it realistic, okay? And look at this. Look at her garden around her. She's growing this beautiful garden. I'm getting the 9 of Pentacles in my head, which is a card of kind of financial stability, independence. Not just financial though, it's Pentacles, which is earth energy. So being very grounded, being very stable in your own beliefs, in your own self-knowledge, in your own self-worth, okay? I believe self-worth is a very, very important thing here, because I think that you kind of put your worth, what am I saying? You put other people in front of you, and therefore your self-worth suffered, okay, because you weren't valuing yourself in the way that you were valuing other people. And so your ideas, your thoughts, your visions, you didn't value them. You valued other people's opinions more so than your own knowing. Oh my gosh. Sorry, this is very exciting. I love this. I'm very much blessed to be a part of this mass awakening, because there is a mass awakening happening all across the globe, and I think my role specifically is kind of centered on the women who are experiencing this awakening. My own experiences with mental health, eating disorders, have really kind of brought that home for me, that is the area in which I need to focus my attention on, the ways in which women have been cut from their power, on the ways that which women have been made to feel ashamed, small, as if they cannot share their voice, they cannot be who they are and truly step into their highest potential. There's probably a lot of women that are going to find this reading wow. Yes, very powerful women, very brave women, visionaries. Oh my gosh. Yes, this vision here, these people who are awakening to this are kind of the harbingers of the new age, the new earth, in which creativity and authenticity will take center stage. And there are so many people who are currently coming into this power. There has been a huge season of letting go of what doesn't serve you. So as I was saying, there was likely many tower moments in which you had to show exceptional bravery to step into this new paradigm, this new reality that you have envisioned for yourself, okay? But you've done this. Ah! Look, the top of the deck. Creativity and expression. Yes, this is what it's all about. You know, you're likely an artist. You're likely somebody who, you know, creativity, it's in your blood. It's what you've come for. It's what you've come to share. And you likely have quite a rebellious way of thinking. You probably think outside of the box. Is that a wolf? Yeah, I'm looking at this next to her. It looks like a dog, but I'm going to say wolf, and it gives me the idea of somebody who has been a lone wolf, likely because you think so differently from other people, and your experiences have led you to that way of thinking, okay? And people who haven't had those experiences, whoa, confirmation. 1 second. Yes, people who haven't had those experiences will not be able to digest the knowledge that you hold and the vision that you have, because, you know, that's been your initiation. Your experience has been your initiation, and it is sacred, okay? It is sacred for you to have gotten to this point. Okay, let's get some from the pocket animal spirit deck. See if there's any more info. What we on? 19 as I looked. So what's that? An 8? Ah! An 8 is abundance. Okay, so this is somebody who is aligned with their highest timeline, or they are answering the call for alignment with their highest timeline. Wow, okay. So we have the snake. This is very unsurprising. We're in the year of the snake. You know, we're talking about you shedding, you letting go of things that did not serve you. You know, as the snake sheds its skin. We also have the flower of life here. I'm quite unfamiliar with a lot of symbols and what they mean, but I really do feel this is an essence of being connected to something beyond yourself, and this has allowed you to shed this skin. Okay, you found a sense of connection, and I believe that it's probably in realizing that these visions, this way of life that you imagined, came from something greater than you. It wasn't a delusion. You're not delusional. That may be for you if you struggle with that. I've been there. I know what it's like to question everything, particularly if you're somebody who values logic just as much as you kind of value emotions. A lot of the times I've kind of been written off because I'm very sensitive and very emotional, and what people don't realize is actually I'm also very intellectual and very logical and very clever, you know, in terms of book smart. So you can be both. Okay, another little tangent there, that's for somebody, but yeah, it's feeling a connection outward of yourself and allowing this connection to lead you. And this connection is seated in your heart space. Okay, that's where your communication is coming from at this time. We have the tiger. This is very fiery masculine energy, king of the jungle. I'm noticing the moon on its head as well, which is kind of giving me third eye. It's giving me this idea of being powerfully psychic, and yes, very much the same, tapping into that inner knowing. Let's read slightly more about the tiger, because I'm not sure what the specifics of this card are, but I'm sure that there's something wonderful in here for you. Tiger. I'm really kind of learning to take my time with these readings, because I often, if I go blank, I feel pressure and I'm like, oh, you know. But I'm just gonna take it as it is, you know, and let it flow, and if it stops, then we take a moment and we reset. So, okay, yes, we have lunar force, ease in darkness, feminine energy. Hey, that's surprising actually. Well, I suppose Leo is the masculine. So yeah, the tiger, feminine energy, ease in darkness. This is exactly it. In that you cannot see where it is that you're going. You have these little snippets, you've had these little holes punched through the veil, and you're envisioning, but you cannot exactly see how it is you're going to get there. It's probably felt very heavy and very dark, in that you've had to let go of much of what you associated with your previous identity, your previous life, and it's been very kind of confusing, you know. I mean, I can relate to that as well. I mean, when I had my spiritual awakening quite a few months ago now, I didn't know what was going on, you know. I knew that I had a sense of something, but it drove me nuts because I couldn't see what I was doing or where I was going, and it took a while for me to be okay with that and to accept that, but that's where you're at now. So it says, the tiger hunts at night, at one with the silence, fearing nothing. This card reminds us to take in the wild darkness, to allow the lunar forces to soothe and heal our spirits. Sensuality, receptivity, and devotion are all heightened in the midnight hour, and the tiger takes advantage of these boons. Spend some time in silence this evening, drinking in the potent calm. There is nothing to fear in the stillness except the awakening of your own power. Woo! Yeah, so we have the tiger and we have power here. Okay, so this kind of gives me the idea of this silence, that you have likely been quite isolated. You're probably somebody who was in survival mode, given, you know, this poison and these negative opinions of others, and so actually having some semblance of peace and quiet likely felt very alien to you. It likely felt like, specifically if you're coming from a wounded masculine energy of overexertion and controlling, it kind of felt like you weren't doing anything. Maybe you kind of thought, oh, I'm being lazy, and I used to say this to myself all the time when I used to relax. Oh, I'm being lazy, I should be doing something. But but you can't always be doing something, you know, like, and they would have you think otherwise, this society, because once you stop doing, that's when you can connect. That's when you can connect to something higher. Okay, that's when the messages are going to start to come through. That's when your intuition is going to pick up, and you're going to start to hear it and feel it and know it. Okay, so actually taking this time, this is giving me an in-between. There is a big jump here from this elixir and this ball to this vision, power and bravery. I mean, what a combination. What a combination. Somebody who's powerful, brave, and a visionary. Incredible. There's a big jump here. And here is the jump in between. Okay. So likely, you know, you've been shedding this skin, you've shedded this old way of being, and you've kind of been in the calm. You've been exploring the intuitive waters, emotionality, the divine feminine essence, which is less about controlling and exerting and more about luxuriating within your own energy and becoming a magnet and attracting things to you. And this is where your inherent power lies. And you've realized this, okay? And I don't think that you've been afraid. I think you have taken on the night like nothing else. And I think that's because you've been very used to the darkness, okay? But this is a different kind of darkness, a very positive darkness, in which you've kind of descended. You've descended into this darkness to retrieve your own power, to retrieve, you know, those visions that you had when you were a young child, or, you know, something that you always saw for yourself. You've retrieved that, you know, you've retrieved your power, okay? We have the Moth card here. So this gives me that you are somebody that exudes a quite an extreme amount of light at this time. You're very attractive. As I was just saying, you're magnetizing things to you with this light, with this divine light that you have tapped into, that you have claimed, that you are owning and expressing, okay? Creativity and expression is very important here. And you're going to find that actually when you're in this essence, you do need to have a heightened level of discernment, because not only are you going to attract those who are very, very good for you, those who wish you the best, who want to support you, who want to lift you up, but you're also going to attract people who see within you what they cannot find within themselves. And I've had this experience myself, and I didn't realize what was happening at the time, but there were a lot of people who were feeding off of my energy, because I was so kind, because I was so compassionate and, you know, really loving and giving. It seemed like it was open season, really, you know, for lack of a better term than that. You know, this is a very important lesson for you, having that discernment, learning who to share this with and who not to share it with. And this comes back to this idea of paying too much attention to the people's opinions outside of you and not listening to your own intuition, okay? Because there are going to be people that are going to come at you from all walks of life because of what it is that you are, because of the power that you hold, okay? And now is a time of really working on your discernment, on following your intuition, so that you can accept the right people and send those away with love who are not aligned with you, okay? Let's read a little bit more about this Moth card, and then I'm going to get some from my own deck. I've not even done any tarot yet. Crazy. 28, wow. What's that? A 10, yeah. So 10, that's completion, the completion of a cycle, which is exactly here, you know, what you've done. You completed this cycle. You've left behind an identity that did not serve you. Okay. The moth is sure the grass is greener on the other side. Moth energy is at play when we're attracted to easy solutions or anything shiny and new. This can lead to unfinished projects, disappointment, or burnout. It's helpful to remind moth personalities that life is complex. No matter the illusion, no one is exempt from the trials and tribulations of this great journey. Practice seeing life as an infinite mystery rather than wishing it was easier or different. shiny and new. Those are exempt from the trials and tribulations. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to take it in that way. That doesn't seem right to me. I do think that this is about your own energy, and I think that, you know, it's very much to do with the relationships that you've experienced in the past, with this negative elixir, you know, this poison that was disguised as a sweet juice for you. You know, it was disguised, but it was actually poisonous, and it did not do you any favors. And this was coming from these people who were attracted to you because and in the book it said idealizes others. Okay, so perhaps that, you know, you've been a victim of this. Perhaps people have idealized you, put you on a pedestal, and then when it actually came down to it, they could not handle you. It sucks, but, you know, I get it. Okay, let's get some from my own oracle deck, and then maybe a few tarot cards. I feel like I need to take that card for some reason, so that's going to come out. Okay. Oh my goodness me. Okay, Spirit. Any specific messages for the person watching, please? Any specifics that you would like me to pass on? Yes. So you're coming from a place of limitation. You're coming from a place of limiting beliefs, from swallowing other people's poison, and it kind of determining how you led your life, where it is you took your life, with this limitations card here. We also have crown chakra, awareness, enlightenment, wisdom and connection. Yeah, so as I said, this is a spiritual awakening. This is awakening of your intrinsic power as a soul, as a limitless soul that is connected to everything. You can call in anything that you desire. It's all a matter of vibration, of frequency. I feel I need to tell you that, you know, things are going to take a while to recalibrate. You're recalibrating at this time. There's a huge sense of recalibration, and there is a need for patience. You must be patient. You've already been patient. But there should be it shouldn't be difficult for you, okay? Because you've been trained in this. You have been initiated through the fire. You now have all the skills that you need to make this vision that you have for yourself an undeniable reality, okay? An undeniable reality. Equal give and take, yeah. So, as I say, I think you're somebody who put other people before yourself, very much so. And you were giving and giving and giving and giving until you were empty, and then you couldn't give anymore. And I feel that this was the turning point for you. I feel like, you know, it may have taken you years to get to empty, because you have such a natural capacity for giving and sharing with others. But once you got to that point, you realized that you could not live like that anymore. Something had to change, and the change started internally, okay? You started to assess yourself, to assess what you had taken on that wasn't yours to carry, to assess what truly mattered to you, what truly made you feel alive. And perhaps you were assessing why you were attracting these kinds of scenarios into your reality, okay, despite the fact that you felt that you were a very loving and giving soul. And it was likely because you had given your power away, okay? And this is not a bad, it is a bad thing, but it's not, you know, you're not alone in that. It's something that we are all, and I mean all of us, you know, aside from if you live in a tribe somewhere far removed from the world, we are all conditioned to give our power away. We're conditioned to feel disempowered. We're conditioned to feel like this world is coming at us, this world is happening to us, when in fact we are the ultimate creators of our reality, okay? And they do not want us to know this. I'll leave that up to you to figure out why. We have vices here as well. So I'm looking at this elixir and thinking there may have been, I'm getting a drinking problem, which is oddly specific. I don't usually get very specific messages like that, but yeah, there may have been alcohol consumed, alcohol abuse. Perhaps you were dealing with a family member, a friend, in a relationship with somebody who had some not very nice vices, or perhaps this is you. Perhaps you're dealing with vices currently, and that is a very, very natural, okay thing. You are a human being. Yes, you are a soul. Yes, you are connected to something more than yourself, but you are here having a human experience at the end of the day. And you know, the healing journey isn't linear. It isn't linear. It's up and down and crazy and a roller coaster. So, you know, there may be something that you are being pulled away from at this time, something that served you in this old reality, but it no longer serves you. I want some more on that, please. More on these vices. More on these vices, please. Your vice was overgiving. That's a crazy vice to have, man. It made you feel good. Made you feel like you were doing something worthwhile. Almost like an addiction. You were addicted to being a good person. To people's perception of you as a good person. And that's the reason that you overgave, because you wanted people to see you for what you were, and they never did. And you thought that if I just give more, if I give a little bit more, then maybe people are going to recognize me for what I am intrinsically. And they didn't. And that can be a very, very painful thing. And it's no surprise that this bravery is here on the table, okay? We also have Leo, fire energy on the top. This is great. This is great. Very, very sunny, inspired, passionate time right now. I may be talking to a Leo. You could be a Leo. What does this say? Woo! Ah! Oh, God. The rainbow, sweet relief, new beginnings, a new way forward. Incredible. You have freed yourself. You have freed yourselves from your limitations, from this overgiving, you know, and you've fostered a deeper connection with the divine. Your crown chakra, the energy through your chakras is flowing. You know, you've cleared out the blocks that kept you from stepping on to your most abundant timeline, to the timeline that we are all supposed to be on. It just takes us different amounts of times to get there, you know. Maybe for some people it takes lifetimes. But this is that lifetime. This is the lifetime that you've been waiting for, okay? You're breaking something. You're absolutely shattering something. But so that you can build something that much more extensive, that much more fulfilling. You're doing incredible work here, absolutely incredible. New beginnings are on the way. The path is going to become clear. As you begin to walk on the path reveals itself, okay? Everything may not yet be clear with this tiger card, moon energy, the unknown, mystery. Accept that. Embrace the beauty of the mystery. I'm pretty sure that at the end of the moth card it said, you know, embrace the beauty of mystery as well. So yeah, I mean, you're being divinely supported. Relief is coming. The internal work that you have done so incredibly, you know, you've to be able to move away from this energy and step into power, vision, bravery. Wow. You're a powerhouse. You're an incredible divine being. And you're tapping into this now. You're realizing this now. Okay. Do we want... Oh, look. Top of the deck. Your efforts are paying off. They are. You've been working so hard and things are changing in your favor. And on the back of the deck, we have change. 555. Transition. No surprise. Oh my god, oh my god. And on the top of the deck here we have destiny, and the time is now. What did I tell you? This is it. This is the lifetime. You've been waiting for this. You've been waiting to break. Oh my God, I'm gonna start crying. You've been waiting to break free, and it's taken you every ounce of courage that you have to do this, and you're doing it. Your power is awakened, okay? And the time to use this power, the time to embody and embrace all those gifts that people told you were unrealistic, that the person that you know you are that people could never see, the time is now to let this person out. And watch the universe move mountains for you as you do this, because you are doing something that is going to uplift the collective consciousness, okay? This is divine work that you are doing. You are a divine leader, a divine torchbearer, who can help other people, out of a reality that feeds them poison on a daily basis, okay? Using your visionary skills. You're a visionary, you're a rebel, you're a leader, you're somebody who is here to usher in something brand new, something that people haven't seen before, okay? And you may have been feeling isolated and lonely, and that's because, you know, you haven't got your following yet. You know, a leader doesn't start with followers. A leader leads the way, goes first, and the followers come, okay? Do not be disheartened if those around you cannot appreciate and see how much you have grown, despite the fact that you feel like a totally different person. Do not let that dishearten you, okay? Because the divine God, your spirit team, your ancestors, they see how much work that you have been doing, okay? And your work's going to pay off. The time is now. Did I have your work's going to pay off? Hard work is paying off? I'm sure I did. I didn't know where it's disappeared to though. We have curse broken as well. I picked that for a reason. Yeah. This is usually when this card comes out, it's talking about kind of an ancestral cycle, in that these things that you attracted, this way that you behaved, this identity that you have taken on, came from the opinions of others. Came from limiting beliefs that had been, you know, conditioned into you, and this was going on for generations, okay? You know, for instance, your mum spoke about herself in a certain way, and then you speak about yourself in that way, and then your children speak about themselves in that way, and so on and so forth. But you're breaking this cycle. You're recognizing where it comes from, what the root cause is, and you have made a point of addressing and healing that root cause so that you do not have to carry it anymore, and so that those who come after you don't have to carry it either, which is very profound and incredible work, okay? Couple tarot. I mean, this was a lot longer than I thought it would be, but couple tarot for you, and then I'm gonna sign off. But you know, curse breakers, you know, cycle breakers, revolutionaries, rebels, I'm loving the energy that I'm channeling. The people who are going to find these videos, watch the universe move mountains for you. Fate is on your side. The wheel spins in your favor. You have built up so much good karma from giving, and yes, it was detrimental to you, the giving that you were doing, because you were over giving, but the universe, you know, giving is giving, love is love, and it all racks up. So, you know, that system that you were in, you still gave love, you still, you know, gave your heart, and you were racking up points and upon points upon points upon points, and now this curse is broken. It was always your destiny. You're on your destiny path, okay? And you've shed what was kind of correlated with this ancestral curse. Your new life is on its way. Things are changing for you. The universe is working in your favor, okay? change, destiny. We have destiny here twice. This is your destiny. Know it, accept it, and do not worry about what everybody outside of you has to say, okay? Please take it from me, somebody who spent 25 years miserable beyond belief because I cared so much what everybody thought, because I care. Please don't make that same mistake. You know, if you're seeing this, you probably already did make that mistake, okay? Let's be real. You've probably already been there and you're leaving it behind, and I couldn't be more proud. You know, woo! We have the 6 of Wands on the top of the deck, which is the victory card, okay? It's recognition of your efforts. I feel like in the spirit world currently, they are celebrating you big time. I think there's probably a chance that you don't actually realize the gravity of what it is that you've achieved in breaking this cycle. But trust me, you are victorious. You are highly ranked within the spiritual realm, okay? You are very loved. You are incredibly supported. This is your victory, and it's your destiny to have this victory, okay? It's always been your destiny. Do we have one more, please, Spirit? One more to sign off. Wheel of Fortune's a 10 as well, so once again we come to this cycle breaking, the end of a cycle. Yes, 5 of Cups. This is what we're leaving behind. We're leaving behind this black cloak of misery that seemed to follow us and shroud us everywhere we went. We are no longer looking at the 3 cups in front of us that are knocked over. Okay, we've turned our attention to the 2 cups that are behind us, and you know, the 2 cups can also represent the 2 of Cups, which is divine union, okay? So this may be something that is coming in for you on this path, but I believe that because you are a creative, you are a visionary, this person who this may be speaking of, divine union, romance, will be somebody who can match this. It will be somebody who you can create with, you can build this vision with, okay? You have a mission, you have people who are supposed to help you on this mission, you have soul family, and you are calling on the top of the deck. Wow, okay, yeah, I mean, you're calling something in. It doesn't have to be romantic, it could be a business collaboration, a friendship. I'm getting that it's romantic though. It's somebody that's going to help you with this. Whatever it is that you've realized about yourself, perhaps it's a new project, perhaps, you know, it's a complete 180 in what it is that you want to do, but there are people who you are calling in your soul family. You know, the wheels turning, these people are on their way, who are going to help you on this path. And we have the Ace of Pentacles as well, which is the universe extending its hand with abundance, prosperity, stability. You know, it doesn't have to just be financially, it could be spiritual, and I believe that this is somebody who's very, very, very spiritually abundant, okay, at this point. And you know, it only takes a short amount of time for reality to recalibrate and reflect that internal spiritual abundance back to you within the material realm, okay? Oh my gosh, my tree's throwing stuff off, she's talking. I love this. This was a great reading. Thank you so much for tuning in. I've had a few ups and downs with this because I felt so called to do it that I literally put my whole life on hold, and I've had some very slow results, and that was also kind of putting me off slightly, so I really get that energy in this reading. But I just want to thank you. You know, I think there are 30 people who I have subscribing, and there are a few of you who do watch most of my videos, and I'm so very grateful for you. You know, you're the reason why I do keep showing up, even if it's sporadically, but I do promise that over the next couple of weeks, you know, posting's going to become more regular again as I get back into the swing of things. And congratulations, you know, you guys who are doing this work, you're incredible. You're the kind of people that get me up every day. You really are, you know. And I've not met you in person, but I feel that energetically we're meeting, okay? Thanks for tuning in, guys. I love you very much.